Hello, my divine being, and welcome to this week's episode of Confessions of a New Age Goddess. As always, I'm the New Age Goddess herself, Melissa. Joining me today is Jude Hotep. Jude is the goddess astrologer and life coach. Jude is a paradigm shifter and does individual astrology consultations with women around the globe. She is an expert on the divine feminine awakening and journey. She does individual astrology readings and has a one-on-one coaching program. Find her on the Light Goddess podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and all the places. So, Jude, welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me. It's so great to be here with you.
Likewise. So, Jude, where in the world are you joining us from currently?
So I've been traveling 16 states in 5 months, just on the road. I'm in Florida at the moment.
Very nice. Very nice. I do love that. I love a nomadic lifestyle. It's kind of jealous because I'm like, one day I'll do that. I'm gearing up for it. Nice. Okay. And then, Jude, if you don't mind kind of introducing yourself to our audience as well in your own words.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the goddess astrologer and soul coach. I'm definitely a coach. It's kind of like a life coach, but I really, of course, we have to deal with the personality, the thoughts, the emotions, the physical body. But I work at the level of soul, really at a shamanic level, because most of our issues are actually karmic from past life after past life, from women being burned at the stake, being stoned to death, being killed for being a woman, speaking out lifetime after lifetime. And, it's not just that you're a woman, so you're a woman in every life, but we have these deep karmic fears, these deep karmic subliminal insecurities and issues that are really unnameable. And so that's what I work with. And I work with women on the spiritual journey and soulpreneurship and being on soul mission in your life and all of us together, light goddesses around the world, moving humanity out of fear consciousness into love consciousness. The podcast is got 342 episodes at this point. There's so much wealth there. The YouTube channel is Astro Intuitives. Every day I do the astrology and I pull cards so that everyone can know what's going on in the energies. And that's what I do.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely listened to a few episodes of the pod myself. And yeah, it's just nice to get a read of the energy for the day. So you kind of know a little bit what to expect, what to look out for, and then really what to even do in your day. I know there's some things, well, hey, I have to go to work today, but if it's like, hey, I wanted to start a new project, hey, maybe today is really the best time to do that, or perhaps tomorrow's a better time.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then a little bit deeper into that, I know you started discussing feminine energy and how it can be used to create the life that you desire. But if you could elaborate a little bit more on that theme or topic.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, men and women both all have the divine masculine, divine feminine within, but women are called to be in their divine feminine. They are called to step into their power, to own that, to know it. But it's kind of this thing of like, well, what does that even mean, my power? Because most women, until they have those awakenings or until they're really actively seeking it, don't realize that that they're not living at their full strength. And a lot of women are afraid to be seen and heard in the world, to step on soul mission. They don't think they're important. They don't feel like they matter. They don't feel like their voice has something important to say. And it's really deeply at this of the subliminal levels. So it's not really in their consciousness. It's not like we're going around like quaking in our boots, but we're just living this really sublimated life. And so being in the divine feminine in your world is being in your truth, being willing to take the risks, to be heard and seen, to do the 12 zodiac signs, Aries, like say, no, I don't like this. Yes, I do like this. Like to speak what you like and what you don't like. That is the divine feminine, is to be raw and real. And it's not, a lot of people are like, I'm being mean. And it's like, no, you're not. You're saying what you like, what you don't. Own your no and stop people pleasing. Stop trying to help others. Let them stand and rise to their power and their strength. So part of being divine feminine is holding the space so that others can also rise into their power and to own their work, that we all have to face that shadow, do that healing work. A lot of the divine feminine is really owning your sensuality and your body, being in your body. So there's embodied, and we can say that means so many things, right? But it's like being in the body feeling is deeply emotions, all the emotions. Do you know your emotional seascape and can like identify those emotions and have those emotional skills? Because when we don't, they throw us and they take us off of what we really want to do in life, and it pushes us back down into more suppression. So the emotions, and really being in the body and understanding what your body is saying. Like the divine feminine is non-linear, so it's like on throughout the day we're going to have these high peaks, we're going to have these low peaks, and it's like not being in that linear masculine, this is a schedule, I got to do it like this, and having more fluidity. It's cool. Of course you have your client hours or you have your set times, but even having fluidity with that, and flowing and feeling the energy that this person's not even going to call me, or they're not even going to show up, or and like feeling that, like you can feel all of that when you're in it, and having that like pliability, that non-linear, that no, I need a nap now at 2 p.m. in the middle of the day, and then they get up and get back to it. Or the playing to create, like women, the feminine plays to create, we rest to create, we don't just like keep barreling through. That's Mars energy, that's Aries energy, it's very masculine energy, it's just barreling through, over the mountain, over the fence, through the fence, like busting through things. It's like the feminine is a spiral energy, and it's flowing. And intuition, obviously. So there's like intuition, our deep feminine knowing, our psychic energies, which connecting to the moon. That's another way we can embody it in our life and really understand the moon cycles, that the dark balsamic period up to the 3 days of the new moon is this deep time where we actually used to go vision for our people as women and go into the wood together. We actually also used to really go within, understand that dark goddess time is a time where our psychic energies are downloading us with all of the information that we're needing at that time. It's a very inward time to rest and to renewal. It's the cyclical renewal that most of the population is very disconnected from. And that's why they don't hear that, the inner messages. So those are some of the ways that I would recommend is start following the moon, like going out and seeing that moon every day and connecting to her.
Yes. I mean, so many good points. I really like the bit about when I'm holding space, then I can hold space for others. And then because we are all connected, we are all one. So then it's kind of like, a domino effect in that sense. And then also the whole notion of we shouldn't be just barreling through. That's something to create. That is something I had to learn very recently, actually. And that, when I played with the universe, because the universe is so willing to play with you, that then, I'm creating stuff out of this other sort of vessel. It's like, I'm creating stuff out of my passion, out of what I actually want to do, what I'm really good at. And then these certain opportunities are just magnetized to me because they feel that divine feminine essence, just kind of radiating through, no matter what it is, no matter what the project is.
Yeah.
And you also said a bit about, kind of advocating for what it is that you want. And then those things will be attracted to you. But I myself, and I know other people struggle with this too. Sometimes we don't even know what we want. And I know that sounds kind of weird. You would think, well, I know what I like and what I don't like. Well, maybe for simpler questions, I know what I want. For example, I know what ice cream flavor I want at the moment, but more extreme cases, sometimes I don't know what I want because of these limiting beliefs I have, because of this false conditioning. And I was told for so long, well, you're good at this. This is what you want. And then you have to, unprogram that. And then you can even get to what you want so that you can be a beacon for it. So sometimes it's, that made me think of that. Sometimes it's really deep and really layered in that effect as well. But no, I completely agree. When we have this amazing tool at our hands of this divine feminine energy, and why not just tap into it? And the bit about the moon. Oh yeah, I like it. My cycle always correlates to the moon, and when I'm in that understanding and that knowing, okay, I have more energy now, or I have less energy now, or now's that time where I'm feeling really hot, and sometimes I'm not. Just using that to my advantage is something we all have, and we just kind of have to be aware of it. All right. And then are there any, success stories that you can share with us of some, clients that you have worked on,
Part.
really seen a big
Okay.
change with?
Sorry, just that last part I didn't catch. My internet's being super fun right now, but I caught most of it. But
Okay, did you hear the bit about the moon?
about the moon, say
Yeah.
again.
Oh, yeah. Just about, that was the last bit. Just about how the moon, that, when you realize, your period correlates with the different cycles. And when you're kind of feeling more hot, or you're feeling like you have more energy, or you're feeling more creative, and just to use that to your advantage, because you can know ahead of time, if you're regular, when those different time periods are. And it's kind of something that we all have within us. And it's just about the knowledge of knowing when, and then you can use it to your advantage. But yeah.
Absolutely. Like there's so much, because even just with the moons, with the artificial light going indoors to sleep, our cycle used to be exactly correlated with the moon cycle, because we're underneath the moon that gave our bodies the signals and the cues. And so because of the artificial light, our bodies now are at all different times. And a lot of women don't know that. A lot of women don't understand about their vaginal mucus, and that you can understand your whole cycle through that. A lot of women, aren't connected to yoni steaming and all of these women wisdoms that we have to regulate our body, and to cleanse, and just really natural ways, being close to the natural medicine of the earth. I liked what you were saying about like learning, your own rhythms of taking rest, and like playing with the universe. And it's like super fun, and having our grail full within, that we are the grail, it's like the holy grail, right? And having that cup always full, that chalice always full for ourselves. Because it's true, like when we just don't have energy, we don't thrive off that pressure as women at all. Like we really crumble underneath it, and then go into the mind, go into the masculine, go into fear of not doing enough. And then it just becomes this kind of loop that we can get stuck in really easily, I feel like.
Yes. And I've noticed that too, when I keep asking myself the same questions of, oh, am I not doing enough? Or what else should I be doing? Even that verbiage is so masculine. It's so just not in a state of trust of the universe. And it's so disempowering, and in a state of lack, and it's the way I'm talking to myself is of great importance. It's almost as though I am discounting, this divine feminine energy that I can tap into. It's like you're discrediting what is right in front of your face almost. So yeah, it's good to always have that constant reminder, and see how things shift and change when you're looking at them through a different perspective or lens.
Yeah, I think that's so beautiful what you're saying, that like you can always tap into that divine feminine energy to feel and to move. That's really beautiful. I'm just what you're saying, like the lack, like that's a brilliant way to frame it, because it is very much, right? It's not doing enough. It is lack. Like that's really brilliant. Like we don't realize how the lack is in all these different little layers and levels, and all intertwined within us. It's like we have to keep pulling out and dismantling them from within, everywhere we can. And then that's what's so powerful about sisterhood, and us connecting, and women connecting around the world, is like we help each other understand where those are at. So to keep pulling off the layers of this like 5,000 years of women's suppression. And it's really important that this has affected men and women. For me, it's about both coming together in partnership, the divine feminine and masculine, and also allowing men to rise up into their divine masculine. And so it's about all of it for me. And I don't think demonizing anybody is going to get us anywhere. It's actually going to keep it going. So I think it's so important, though, that with sisterhood, we keep peeling off and finding where it's at within us, that we're in lack and we don't even see it and realize it. Even just saying it's hard. Like I have people around me that are like, lately they're like, it's hard. They're trying to say like, I understand you, but just say, oh, I understand, or I have compassion for that experience. It's not hard. That's like a spell we want to keep unraveling too. It's not hard. It's easy. It gets to be playful. It gets to be easy.
Yeah, it's just looking at it differently, because for someone who, to your point, is used to barreling through, that's all. So anything else is going to seem hard just because it's different or unfamiliar.
And uncomfortable. Yeah, it's exactly right. Like it's unfamiliar. So it's just a new way to do things. I think a lot of people stop because of that. It makes them stop and hesitate and not go forward on the mission. Which I think is why coaching is so profound. The work we do is so profound.
Yeah, because when something is new, you kind of have that guttural fear reaction of unsafety. So that's why, right? So you just kind of and program that, and then you realize, oh, it's just unfamiliar. It doesn't mean it's a threat. And kind of take it from there. But also what you were saying earlier that I wanted to mention again, it's more as though a lot of these things are subconscious when we're not exuding our full self and we're holding back. It's kind of almost, to me, it reminds me of a throat chakra blockage where, hey, I'm not lying. I'm being honest and everything I'm saying is true, but I'm holding back half of what I'm thinking for whatever reason, limiting beliefs, conditioning. And now I'm not exuding myself in the highest form and my message isn't as clear. Or, certain people can't hear me or they're misunderstanding me just because I'm not going full force because I was maybe previously taught not to, or yes, I was burned at the stake, in a past life for voicing my opinions. So that's another bit of it too. People might say, well, I'm honest, but are you being your full self to everyone else and not just internally?
And we have Scorpio South node right now, and that's very Scorpionic. And the South node is where we want to move out of as for ourselves as humanity and into our destiny point. To the North node of Taurus, which is building. It's very simple. It's welcoming. It's very loving. It builds relationships. It grows relationships. Scorpio is secretive and suspicious and distrustful. And that's the energy that we have to let go of. It's very controlling too. It wants to control how things go. That safety issue, which you said but it's coming from a subconscious place that we don't know where it's even actually coming from. We wouldn't call it by that name necessarily. So that's why coaching can see your blind spots.
Yes.
It can see and get in there and start to dismantle that and break that down. There's so much there that it's as women, I think we're facing this amazing time where we get to be the alchemical initiators. We get to step into the amazing power. We get to do amazing things. And every woman, awakened can help, another woman awaken, because it's the morphogenic field that we keep resonating, the morphogenic field, and filling that with our power and with the truth that this is for all of humanity. Like I personally think it's very evident, but I don't think most women see it, that women are the hinge pin for humanity moving forward, for humanity moving out of this dark night of the soul, from fear, and lack into love and abundance consciousness, which is truth. Like everything is right on this earth. And yes, maybe, Tesla didn't succeed in the electricity being free for all, our commons, and all of these thousands of examples of that. But we're building a parallel society, all of us together, where we're moving into. We're building the new communities. We're building the new ways, which are really the old ways. It's old truth.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of when, a retro style comes back in fashion, like bell bottoms or something, which is like an old thing that's coming back, but it's the same concept pretty much.
Yeah, definitely.
To your point, means the framework is already laid out because we've already done it.
We really have. I don't think most women realize that we do have a blueprint for the sacred feminine and for men and women being in equality. They're living in egalitarian society. We do have that. It was goddess cultures. And a lot of people misuse the term matriarchal. It wasn't matriarchal because that assumes that the woman was dominant over men, and that's not the case. It was matrilineal. So it was passed down through the women's line, which I don't think that's the answer today with their world as such. I think that's probably a choice between partnerships individually. But the goddess was revered because we understood that woman held creation and came through, and men and women were equally understood their mattering, their importance. But women were revered and honored, and the chivalry of man, the knighthood, and so it's so amazing when you see women and men in their sacred feminine and masculine. I mean, we are the ones that are, moving humanity forward.
Yes, couldn't agree more. And then, do you have any success stories that you wanted to share with, clients that you've worked with in the past that you saw made a change in a certain arena of their life?
Yeah. So the coaching I do, like I kind of talked about it a little bit before, it's very shamanic, soul level coaching. But of course, we deal with the personality, because that's the vehicle for our soul, all these thoughts, all these emotions. We need those skills. Most people don't have those skills, how to manage the mind and to sink into that feminine intuition, and how, emotional skills. But I use your chart. So I work with women to know thyself and to use their astrological chart in each coaching session in my program. So it's so powerful. Women get to know who they are, their soul chart and their karmic chart, because you have two different charts actually. You don't just have one natal chart. And women get to start understanding their life through that. So their compassion grows. One of my clients the other day just had this amazing, like the Kundalini was rising. She was in ecstatic bliss. She was completely like in the state of like ecstatic, like just realization, because we had talked about some of these threads session after session. It takes time for the mind to be able to receive it. And finally it just clicked, and all you could tell, like all these dots were falling into place for her. Like like her face shifted, her energy shifted. She was just beaming from ear to ear. And she's like, I didn't know I could see my life this way. I could see myself this way. She's like, things are all making sense. Things are all clicking from the past to what, she's been visioning. And so, we also work on financial thriving, going from financial healing into financial thriving, and what I do as well. And that's a big piece. Like sex and money are one of the biggest pieces for women, because those are the areas that have a lot of the most issues, intimacy. And Scorpio is also intimacy and transformation and death. So those are the things that we want to bring, the gifts of the South Node. So yes, the women I work with get on to soul mission if they're not. They start to understand their purpose if they don't. They start to move into financial thriving if we're in the like healing phase, and we do that healing phase. So the transformation is really profound. Women start to understand that they matter from a deep level. They see their chart and they start to realize, like, I was born to do this, and I can do the low octave of my chart, which we just do naturally on autopilot, or I can start to take my chart and be in my power and start to actually consciously engage with the world, realizing that what I have to do here is matters. It's a big deal. Every woman has something important she's meant to do here.
Yes. And it is quite empowering when you discover that about yourself, that I am just naturally going to be good at this theme or topic, and it's within me and I already have it, whether I've tapped into it or not. Now I know what it is. So it makes it a lot clearer. Yeah. Just so many people even come to me, they say, well, I don't know my life purpose. And it's like, once you start to know yourself, then you kind of know the purpose. And then, you feel that power center expand and grow, and you're fulfilled. Then your cup is going to be filled no matter what you're doing.
And it's right in the chart. It's the North Node. Everyone has their North Node for themselves, and then their South Node that we're trying to heal, which is a journey. And it's important because it will do you in. It will keep the old cycles and old karma going. The North Node is our destiny. And so wanting to know your North Node is so important. Know your North Node, know if you have interceptions, and know what are the key things in your chart. So if you just follow your North Node, you'll be happier. You'll be more satisfied. Like you said, your cup will be more full. You'll feel like you're really living, like alive and in this life.
Yes. Because I know my South Node is in Leo, and then my North Node is in Aquarius.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know South Node, maybe some sort of, I don't know, royalty, like some type of prestigious, maybe cushy life, it seems.
It could have been very solitary. Yeah, it could have been very solitary. It could have been the time where you got to have everything, but also possibly very solitary. We tend to look at the South Node skewed negatively so that we understand the karmic lessons and so forth. And so in this life, it's meant to be building with other people, connecting and collaborating and being part of the group. And it's
cool. Because I'm thinking, because it's Aquarius, wouldn't it be building and collaborating in more of an eccentric way?
It's very much about being an innovator, being an individualist, being the maverick, being the rare avis. Like, absolutely, you're meant to be an original, unique you, and to show the world like what that means, what that looks like. And so like Libra is very much like partnering to like leading, partnering with people to lead them. And Aquarius is that building where it's like understanding humanity. But Aquarius like fills people's cups, but then they go on to fill the next cup, and they're like, they don't come back. They're like, I got you already. Like, you should have kept that cup upright, like we're good. It's like a very humanity driven whole picture, sign. And it's Uranus. So it's about higher consciousness, awakening. So very much about awakening people. And so like the awakened goddess, like it just makes so much sense. Like
Very much so, very much so. Yeah. And then just as some key takeaways, what's something that you could tell women that they could do as a small actionable step to kind of help embody that divine feminine, just something little for themselves to get into that flow state?
Self-pleasure.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Salt baths. Start self-nourishing proportional to the amount of work you expect of yourself, or the amount of work you're doing in your life. That would be the number one thing, is like self-nourishment, baths, get out of the time cycle and get on to like, what is your body saying it needs? It needs food right now. It needs water right now. It needs to go pee. Like, go pee when you need to go pee. Stop waiting to get a glass of water when you need that. Stop doing 10 more things. So it would just be listening to what your body's saying. Listen, get still inside, get out of the mind as much as possible. Get into the habit of like getting back into the body and the heart and the breath.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds simple, but it's something, are you really doing all those things?
It's not.
It's like, if
right.
you say you really are doing all those things on a regular basis, then I would say you're ready for the next level, but let's start with the basics, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
because a lot of people, like you said, like, are they doing them? It's like, don't do them like, oh, I have to do this routine in the morning with all of this stuff. It's like, no, just like go take a nap when you're tired and then get up and go back to work. Like, listen to your body.
Yeah, it should be enjoyable. We shouldn't make it a chore. That's a good point too.
A lot of people do. Yeah, it's that Virgo energy.
Unfortunately, we're trying to break out of that. So what if you kind of just want to briefly go over, I know obviously you do coaching, you have one-on-one clients, but what are just some basic services that you would say you offer in a little bit more detail?
Yeah. So I do astrology. So sorry, our internet connection. I think there's a delay. I apologize. Didn't mean to cut you off. I do astrology. So you can book an astrology reading right on thegoddessastrologer.com. I do those individual readings. Some people book regularly, once a month or once a quarter or once a year. And then I do coaching where I use your chart in coaching, whether it's 3 months or 6 months. I have that. But Light Goddess actually just opened up. Light Goddess is Divine Feminine Sisterhood. I'm doing the first full moon ceremony on June 14th. It is sitting in sacred space with women. It's where you just get to be who you actually be, confidential, sacred space. No one's telling you what to do. It's using I language, owning your experience, and really getting to witness other women in the depths of how they really feel, like where they really sit with themselves right now as women. And you get to speak where you sit with yourself as woman. And so I'll have these ceremonies. We're going to have astrology jams. We're going to have, different things going on, card readings, and we're going to have connection. So we can actually bond. Point of that it's like I don't have connection. I don't know this is about sites is dailies.
Oh my God, this fucking. I am not offline, friend. Okay, this is. Oh. And we're
Sorry
back.
about that.
It was actually pretty good, like up until that point. Yeah. So the last thing that I heard was Astrology Jam.
Oh, okay. So Light Goddess, it's the Divine Feminine Sisterhood. It's its own container. It was the Activate Your Goddess Facebook group, and now it's moved to its own container. Basically, as soon as I got the group going, I was like, I want out of this Facebook black hole. So it has its own login and portal. And we'll be doing Astrology Jams, coaching jams, connection calls. We'll be doing calls where everyone gets to actually meet each other to form those deep bonds, because that's what we need so much, is to have other people that are on the mission, on the journey, like co-signing each other's narratives, that this is the real life, the soul life. And because there's so much of the world that's not, right, that's in the matrix and the program. And so it's really about those deep bonds and connections that we're all looking for. So there's so much going on in that. And it's only 44 for the rest of this year. So it's an insane deal to have so much going on each month, where we're going to be connecting all throughout the month. And it's like real sisterhood, real bonds. So that is open now. The links are at thegoddessastrologer.com. It's underneath the YouTube, daily YouTube videos, underneath the daily podcast videos or podcast episodes.
For sure. Okay, great. And then was there anything that we didn't get to that you really wanted to let the audience know?
I guess the last thing I would say, pardon me, is that, you asked me about actionables. Like, I would say, what I was trying to say is like self-nourish, that so many women don't realize to do that. Self-pleasure, that most women are disconnected from their body in that way too. But play, I would say play to create, because when we're connected to our joy and our play, our channel opens up, and then we're just wanting to create the videos or the copy or the whatever it is in our business. It's just like find ways to play that aren't the old stuff, going out, drinking, drugging, pot, all those things. It's like find ways to play that lift you up and feed your soul and feed your joy, that are unique and fun, the adventure.
For sure. Even like when I'm just scrapbooking something,
yeah.
effect, I am in flow state. I know I'm there. I can feel it. It's like I don't even notice the time passing, and when I'm in that, I don't know, that state, I just, then I can kind of bring that into another project that I'm working on. And it just kind of imprints everywhere then. So I could not agree more. And you just feel it when you're there, and when you're not there, it's just like, I just feel the yumminess.
Yes. For me, it's movement. I gotta move. Yeah. But totally.
Wow. Okay, great. But yeah, you did let us know your website, but if there's any, and you let us know your podcast, all that kind of stuff, I'll definitely link everything in the description box to this episode. But I do want to thank you for hopping on the pod with me today. It was a joy, definitely. And this is just another great example of how spirituality and the use of different methods and teachings can really make great changes in your daily life. As always, if you're looking for a way to relieve stress and anxious thoughts, or looking to gain some clarity, you can always book a Reiki energy healing or Akashic Records reading session with me at thenewAgeGoddess.com. Much love and namaste.